But, and that's the real world where an entrepreneur goes. And imagine having to do it with no resources at your disposal. So Anubhav, as the leader of this, I'm sure he knows how challenging. And these are the entrepreneurial moments of truth which is beyond logic, which corporate world runs on logic, and life starts beyond logic. You know, science tells us post facto how a child is born, but imagine how magical it is. That's far beyond logic. We kind of reverse fit the logic of science and explain it away, rationalize it away until the next invention or discovery is made, and then say, oh, we were unwise earlier. But we never admitted that during the period of so-called self-proclaimed wisdom. So my very humble submission or thing to you as leaders is, please see, if there are two new skills that you learn personally, I would love for you to learn artificial intelligence. I would love to see you in a class of machine learning. And all it needs is class 10th maths, I can tell you. And a whole lot of processes that you do in your school, you will change when you lead it. So if we are launching many of those programs, you know, career counseling programs for counselors. For the new 80 careers listed for the next 5 years, 67 of them don't exist. These are now oft-repeated facts. And we know, if you look at every 10 years, they haven't existed. So machine learning, artificial intelligence, psychology and history coming to take center stage is not too far away, because the behavioral science already started. Yeah. And earlier it used to be that history child or the psychology child has nothing to do with technology. That's not the case anymore. Yes, yes. And we should come from a location of confidence and clarity that you take psychology, but do play with the machine. Do play with the computers. Because these two can talk in the same breath to one another. It's not that technology belongs to science. Every single thing is happening. You know, one massive change is happening, and it's still below the radar, which is 3 years from now, you would not be typing into your mobiles. I mean, 5 years ago, people said that your television will be in your pocket. We didn't believe, and even today, we don't connect the dots backwards. 5 years ago, I was doing a workshop like this, and I told them that, you know, you will fold your mobile phone, and fold your television and put it in your pocket. And one day I realized, I'm already putting it. So we were having a chat, and I said, I don't have television at home for the last 4 years, but I don't miss a cricket match when I'm traveling, because it's in my pocket. Voice tech revolution is hugely underway. The man-machine interface will not be a keyboard anymore. You will speak. So at my home today, if I have to know, if we were having a chat yesterday and I wanted to see, the Chief Minister of Punjab was Beyant Singh or somebody else in 1984 when Operation Blue Star happened. All it did was turn like this and say, Alexa, who was the Chief Minister of Punjab in 1984? And then we kept moving. And you know what's happening? There are enough videos on YouTube where the teacher is walking into the classroom 10 minutes late, and the children were already self-engaged using Alexa, and they're doing tables with Alexa. They were doing rhymes with Alexa. And the teacher walks in, and then she starts off by saying, sorry kids, I'm 10 minutes late, let's keep going. And then she sits back and becomes a facilitator. The greatest innovations are happening where people the most competent people tell themselves that I also have the meta skill to make myself redundant. You know, as a teacher, and I said that the personality development program that we teach, which is not digital science, it's got a lot of fuzziness in it, you know. But my belief was, and we built it out the first one, saying that today I'm talking to 37 people here as if everybody is one. The receptions are different levels. But if I make machine my partner and consign the best of my capabilities algorithmically into the machine, then the machine can personalize it for each one of us. That's the beauty if I can tame the machine. And as educationists, if we kind of challenge ourselves to do it, we would have done a phenomenal service for ourselves. You were wanting to add something, Harsha?
I forgot.
Sorry.
It's okay, but I forget very quickly, so it'll come back to me.
Okay.
Very good, actually. You forget fast.
It'll come back to me. There was something he was... No, there was something he was saying that I related to, and then I forgot what it was, so it's okay. Yeah, so some years ago, Australia had a very academic coach. Not a player coach, but an academic coach. And he hadn't played anywhere near the level of cricket that his players had played. And so a lot of his players looked down on him. And he defined his role as making himself redundant. He said, I can't play like you, but I know how good you are. So I will show you how good you can be. I cannot be there, but I will show you how good you can be. And in the course of that, I will make myself redundant. It's an interesting thought.
And it actually needs a tremendous amount of adequacy to be able to attempt that. To be able to feel fine that I can be a lot without being anything. Yeah, I think.
That's what leadership is all about. If you can identify your team,
Yeah.
do what and optimize their potential,
Yeah.
then they can run it themselves. That's what.
So we had a coach in India. We had a coach in India who came from South Africa. And he said, I've got this hugely talented team here. And a lot of them are either the best or among the best in the world at what they do. He said, well, how am I going to coach them? And he came up with the idea of servant leadership. He said, I will try harder than you at making you better. And I wonder if that's what teachers do. Whether teachers try harder than students to make students better, but he would also get out of the way. So the earlier coach was trying to change everybody because he was one of the greatest in the world at what he had done. He was a legend of all time. So he was trying to tell people, this is how it is done. This coach came in and said, if you people are already at this level, then obviously you must be doing something right. So there's no point me changing that. Let's figure out what you're doing right and get better at it. Rather than say, this is what you're doing wrong, change this and become this. He said, your style has already brought you here. So now how can I make you better? It's an interesting thought. I don't know whether in corporate life it can work, but certainly in education it can work. The idea that I will work harder than you to make you better. And when he decided to finish, the Tendulkars and Lakshmans were pleading with him at 2 in the morning in his house in South Africa for him to continue. But in a world of machines, we still have to, and maybe this is our world impinging on the new, how do we keep people alive? If your best friend is a machine, how do we keep people alive? It's an interesting thought. I don't have an answer. If everyone's best friend is the machine, or the phone, or the laptop, or laptops, I'm one of the few people who travels with a laptop these days, where do emotions in people come? Will we lose that? I'm not saying machine learning, because machine learning is a way of learning, is a way. How do we keep people alive to...
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe, yeah. Maybe we let machines be machines and let people be people and not let the roles intertwine.
Okay, maybe one. Srini, want to say something?
Saying the microwaves are not replaced by others.
Yes.
Yeah.
But mother has become efficient.
Yeah. It depends on, it's not about man versus machine, man with the machine. What is the machine?
The only reason I brought it up is when we go on our, we do a lot of corporate programs, we find that in IT companies and BPO companies where people are becoming bosses very early in life, they haven't yet understood people enough.
Sure.
And so they struggle as bosses because they're not able to understand people. The person who comes to work
Sure.
is
Sure.
not just an employee, but someone's got EMIs.
Sure. Sure.
So whether we have enough time to understand. So I think you're absolutely right in that the machine can make a person better and not replace the person.
Everything boils down to the education system.
not just that. You're kind of, not just that. I think the greatest value, I am a teacher. I teach huge amount of hours all the time. I bring the emotional part of mentoring. Alexa can't do that. I hopefully bring the inspirational part of it to a young student. Hopefully Alexa, or perhaps Alexa can't. Spiritual intelligence. You see, intellect is the first step. Anything an intellect can do, and she can do faster than I can, let me just rubbish it and let the machine do it. I'm actually saying that man versus machine, you know, Swami Vivekananda said that we are great as attempters as long as we are fighting against nature, trying to win by being respectful to nature. Exactly, and machines can't do that. So the didactic stuff, you know, Newton's first law of motion, I stand up, write on the board 77 times in a year. That's a stupid thing for me to do if I'm a teacher. I'm speaking for myself. I will let the machine do it. But then, how do I use escape velocity to make a rocket? Let's come and do it. I have to sit with them, do it, do servant leadership. Then I have tamed the machine. To me, it's not man versus machine. Man is next to only one person, that is nature. Man means man and woman. And in education, we can do it because in no other subsystem of the society, you and I as leaders are deified and given unquestioned powers as we are. Mother is not questioned, father is not questioned, and then comes only the teacher. And we preside worlds that have 2,000 kids. Imagine the raw human source. You know, I always refuse to call human as a resource. Sun is a source, moon is a resource. Human beings are sources. We are the source of energy. And from that point of view, I think I'm the most stupid person. I'm speaking for myself. I'm the most stupid guy if I don't embrace the latest technology that's happening and then bring my emotional, spiritual, inspirational quotients to build the three envelopes that the machine can't build. Okay. Yeah. You know, when I go to the school, when we used to go to the school, 6 kids would run and they would give me a hug. I used to teach Hindi and English and Urdu in the same class for grade 6 kids. Tell that to a teacher. They will throw rule books at me. CBSE will not permit this, that and the other. Whereas creative leaders have always experimented that. But what I loved about it was I would enter the campus and 6 kids would run and hug me in the lawn, and then your day is made. You take them out of the class, make them sit under a tree, teach them these 3 things. I can't imagine a better lifestyle than that.
We experience it almost every day, and I take that to be my stress buster. The moment I feel that I cannot take something any longer, I just put my pen down
And take a walk.
leave my mobile phone and walk to the pre-nursery. And those children coming to hug you, you forget everything.
Brilliant, brilliant.
And we can't compete with Alexa, right? So should we try to compete with it? So we shouldn't, correct, we shouldn't. So in my profession, it's interesting we're able to link professions. In my profession, the stats man was always, the stats man told you numbers that you didn't know. Today the stats man has become redundant because I can get those numbers myself. It's only my laziness that is making me use the stats person. His job is now to interpret the numbers, not just to deliver the numbers, but to interpret the numbers. Because you can't compete with databases anymore. And it's funny, in our lifetime, how many professions have become redundant. When I was in advertising, when I started off in my first job in advertising, it's interesting. One day I went into the studio, and there was this kinetic Honda scooter that was about to be launched. And there was this finishing artist. He was a magician. And he was spray painting that, making a finished artwork of the kinetic Honda machine, of kinetic Honda bike. That profession vanished in a few years. Because today your mobile phone can correct pictures better than an artist can correct pictures. So it's amazing how that profession vanished. In course of time, the cameraman is vanishing because everybody is a cameraman. The camera sizes have changed completely. So it's amazing where the world is. But professions are becoming redundant.
Okay, so I'll just kind of wrap up and throw it open for more conversations. How much time do we have? 10, 15? Okay. So just the closure invitation is, our endeavor in these conversations is to be of whatever little assistance that we can be in your journey as school leaders, in any which way capacities can be enhanced for teachers, for school leaders, for yourself, for counselors, and for parents. And whole lot of our work of last 22 years, we have brought it into one platform called aspiration.ai. And those accounts for you have been made available to you free of cost for yourself and your families. Whether you are a 14-year-old child or a 17 or 23 or a 37-year-old professional, you can use that. It's almost like a Google personalized for me, or a Microsoft career dashboard personalized for me. It's available to you. Just a starting point. We would love to continue the series. We're thinking of doing it once a quarter. We would be very happy to have these conversations. I'll just pause there and then maybe take a few questions before we let Harsha. What time should Harsha reach there? Time. Okay. So.
What's this AI means?
Artificial intelligence.
Okay, I
The
thought there's
same,
some,
no.
you never know, you might have a different.
So what it does is,
Uh-huh.
and actually we don't know if you want to say it, but when you're part of a Netflix or a Prime or any of those, it is keeping track of the movies that you like,
Okay,
the programs that you like.
okay.
So for example, the first thing that I play when I wake up in the morning is the MS Subbulakshmi Suprabhatam while doing my yoga. And you know, when I open my YouTube, that's the first thing that comes up, because she knows I listen to it at this time. When I
Absolutely.
log into it at 6:30 p.m., what I see are a bunch of cricket latest or movies latest. So this one for child. So if the child goes in and she is constantly looking at law as a career, SAP as a career, etc., it kind of throws notifications specific to that. And you know, the form is out, the admissions are open, this is what has happened. All of that will come for the child, for the mother, for the father, and the teacher. So that's what this is.
Oh, lovely. That's good. That's good.
I redirect the child to that.
Depending on her interest. Like what Harsha was saying, instead of doing repair work where I'm not so good, can we maximize where I'm strong?
So it's a good tool for the counselors.
So the counselors, the teachers, the parents, and all of it is coming because there is a team of 100 people who are working at generating that, and that's available to you without spending any minute of it.
Man versus machine and servant leadership. So Alexa can give you an answer to almost every question that you ask. But when we talk of servant leadership, who will tell them that you are good? And I'm here to facilitate to make you better.
Alexa might become better at that than you think, because they are learning as you go.
No, but who will tell your colleagues or your students that you are good? And I'm here to, as a catalyst, to make you better. Only a human being can do it.
Idea what's going to happen next 5 years.
The interesting thing is that more and more of our capabilities, somebody else in the room will come to a belief system that I understand myself phenomenally well, myself a human being. I understand machine capability to be a servant to me. More and more will get consigned to the machine. Today, like this, in the US, they're saying now a truck leaves from San Francisco to New York without a driver. And the machine is able to tell me to know my child better, and then I will tell what is to be told, but she tells me what I should tell her. Because she's tracking her clicks every minute. I can't, because I need 200 clicks. And she's tracking. But yeah, I think the wonderful thing is that if it's used as a resource, without
It
being
has to be the support system.
Yeah.
for the happy and satisfying career, I'm glad to share that most of the things you're talking about, I'm trying my best to put in my school system and climate. Since you are the career person and sports, so we hardly find a career in sport that is behind the field also. Being a sportsman is one thing, and that also is not a very direct entry into even coaching camps. That does not become so feasible and so very, I don't know, far-fetched or something. And but behind the field, the management, coordination, coaches, so we do not find in newspapers also many a job advice for that. And otherwise the path is quite unknown. So in this area, because some children are genuinely interested in sport, they may not be the best sports people and those stars, but they would love to be around it. So
the reason we didn't have it all these years was because we had very few teams. The only team you played for was either your state team or your national team.
yeah,
There were very few teams in India.
Yeah.
Whereas, say, in English football, for example, the Premiership is 20 teams. The Premiership is 20 teams. The next division is 20 teams. The next division is 20. 60 teams you can play for. That means 60 ecosystems that you're building. 60 careers that you're building for analysts, for coaches, for trainers, for physios. Whereas in India, we only have 2 teams you play for. So now that's changing slowly. So there's a kabaddi league that has come up. There's a football league that's coming up. So as these leagues start to come up, more and more people will get opportunities.
Anuradha, our organization,
I have
federations.
students who are professional footballers. So over the last, say, 5 or 6 years, they have they are in the know-how of how to pursue their
Talk
talent.
about the air that we breathe. We always thought that India cannot play football. But nature does not, there are certain species that are good at some things and the others. They say that only a certain kind of subspecies can ever win 100 meters at the Olympics. But largely the world is democratic to skill. And so we decided we'd pick an under 17 team. We were behind in technology, but not in skill. And our under 16s and under 17s, I was watching them play the under 17 World Cup. I said, look at these kids. But the air that we were breathing in our football was decadent and static for 500 years. When the new air starts to come, everybody will come. We have 100 teams playing. We have a whole sports ecosystem that's coming.